The Philadelphia Eagles continue to dominate on all levels. A 35-10 win over the Tennessee Titans to get to 11-1 on the season. The postgame show coming up next right here on Locked On Eagles.
You are Locked On Eagles, your daily Philadelphia Eagles podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We thank you so much for making Locked On Eagles your first listen each and every day. I'm Louis DiBiase. He's Gino Camilleri. Today's episode of Locked On Eagles, the postgame show, is presented by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. Pick 2 to 5 players, and if they score more or less than their Prize Picks projection, you can win up to 10 times your money on your entry. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with the promo code LOCKEDON. That's prizepicks.com. Promo code Locked On. The Eagles improved to an 11-1 on the season, a 35-10 dominating physical win over a very physical, good Tennessee Titans team, Gino. And that game is exactly why the Eagles are Super Bowl contenders and not just playoff contenders like they were last year, like the Tennessee Titans are, because a week after they run all over the Green Bay Packers, 363 rushing yards, they say, we want to go through the air. We can do that too. Jalen Hurts, 380 passing yards today in 3 touchdowns. That is what separates them from teams like Tennessee, like the Eagles of 2021. We've been saying all week that they should throw it all over the Titans, and man, did Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith bring it. That was very similar to that Washington game earlier this year where they just went nuclear, and there was nothing you can do about it. I mean, what a fun product of football. That's the most fun way to play football, in my opinion. I love watching elite passing, and we've got it back in Philly, man. It's been a while, but it's back.
I think looking at the summary of this game, what is the story of what the Eagles versus the Titans was in 2022? Well, I think you learned a couple things. Jalen Hurts continues to be on an MVP caliber level.
I don't know what to say about him anymore, man. I mean, it's everything.
Who else is on this level right now? He doesn't turn the ball over.
Mahomes, and that's it.
Yeah, he doesn't turn the ball over. He can throw it. He can run it. It has an unbelievable rapport with these wide receivers. The throws that he is willing to make, the development, the patience, the timing. He has become a quarterback that I don't think maybe 0.001% of people thought he could ever achieve this level. Right. We knew he had tools to get to, let's say, a top 12 quarterback level, but to be at a top 2, maybe even a top 1, man, he is on another level. Another thing you look at from this game, the Eagles, their adaptability, their ability to find a way week to week to take advantage of the weaknesses of the Tennessee Titans. It was so easy to see right away that the run game was not going to work. But you know what was evident, Lou? The pass game. Every single time they threw a pass, it had a chance to be completed. And They once again figured out, what is my opponent doing and what are they bad at? And what can we do as a football team, being good in every phase? Well, we're not just going to have one hand tied behind our back, force the run game that was not working. We're going to take advantage of throwing the football. Jalen Hurts, for almost 400 yards in the air, has an unbelievable rapport with his wide receivers. Devontae Smith, a huge day. A.J. Brown, a huge day. And at the end of the day, it comes down to playing 3 complete phases of football. The defense played great. The offense played great. And special teams, they came alive. And outside of the penalties, if they clean everything else up, Lou, that was a dang near perfect football game.
It was the best win of the year so far against the second best team they played on the schedule, probably outside of Minnesota, and you dominated both of those games. So can't really say the Eagles have never beaten anybody good this year either. You can check that off the list as well. And this was because of the passing game. Gino, they headed into this football game. Pro Football Focus said that only 2 offenses this year had an 80-plus passing and running grade. It was the Cincinnati Bengals and it was the Philadelphia Eagles. They showed why last week on the ground. This week it was through the air. And it wasn't just Jalen Hurts. I mean, I truly think, Gino, we've said this a few times on the show, we are witnessing the best wide receiver duo in Eagles history.
Called it, brother.
Yes.
Great call.
I mean, you look at the stats, A.J. Brown, look, all year, any revenge game storyline the Eagles have dominated, A.J. Brown against his former team, 8 catches for 119 yards and 2 touchdowns. You would have thought it was a Devontae Smith revenge game too, though, man. 5 catches for 102 and a score. I mean, everybody stepped up, but those two, especially when they go off, again, it's really fun. This is ahead of Djax and Macklin, Alshon and Aguilar, Carmichael and Quick. I truly think this is the best duo Philadelphia has seen.
Oh, absolutely. Their ability to just win man coverage in every single game, their ability to win in multiple different facets, their ability to track the football, their body control, their 50-50 contested ability, their yards after catch ability. They're all just so good at both of them are just so good at everything.
That's the thing. Like Alshon was a big receiver and Nelly was the quick slot guy. And when you had Jackson and Macklin, Jackson was a deep threat, but these are like two complete wide receiver ones that can literally do everything that, not to the level of Djax, but you got a little Alshon in there. They can do that. They can do what Nelly did. It's everything. It's some of Quick and Carmichael. It literally is the complete package.
It's throwing this back when the Power Rangers, man, when they would come together, right? And they would all link up and they would put themselves together. There's 5 of them. That's what it was like with Alshon Jeffrey and Zach Ertz and Nelson Aguilar and Torrey Smith. Like, you had to get all of their different abilities to create a high-profile offense. Right. What Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown are able to do is to provide you multiple ways to win a football game. And with Dallas Goedert being out, finding an identity in the air through your wide receivers with a young quarterback. That is just going to continue to grow. It's only the first year of A.J. Brown with Jalen Hurts. Devontae Smith is only going to continue to get better. His route running is on another planet right now. And the trust all around between Steichen and Sirianni with Jalen Hurts to go out there and make every throw. With Jalen Hurts trusting his wide receivers that I'm going to put that ball in a position to where
look at
only
the second
you
touchdown
can catch
to
it.
A.J. Brown. He literally threw it off a Titans defensive back's face into Brown. I mean, that's the most trusting throw you can make.
He put it in the sleeves that you put a French baguette in to protect it when you carry it out of the store. That was unbelievable.
His ball placement has been absolutely incredible. Jalen Hurts today, the first Eagles quarterback ever with at least 370 passing yards, at least 3 passing touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. This team is just so likable, man, and it really feels like they gave us our childhood offense back that we grew up loving so much. For me, and this dates me, of course, but this feels like that 2010 Eagles offense, only it's not going to be a one-year thing. This feels like it's, as you mentioned, it's only year one of a long-term marriage between these guys.
The foundation is just continuing to grow more sound as the weeks go on. Because in the back of your mind, you're saying, well, if you look at the box score, Miles Sanders didn't do much today. Well, look at last week. They've just continued to put in pillars to hold up a good, sound, fundamental football team. They didn't turn the ball over. The only area that they're lacking still, if they don't take these penalties, Lou, they're a 40-plus point offense.
Yeah,
any day of the
50
week
today without
100%.
They had 9 first half offensive penalties, 5 false starts. But outside of that, completely flawless post snap. It was beautiful.
4th game of the season, scoring over 35 plus points. They were only able to do that twice in all of 2021. They're only through 12 games right now, Lou. And you have 2 games against the Giants left. You have a game against Chicago. You're going to be taking on the Cowboys once again. You have a chance, and the Saints, man, you have a chance to score 35 plus points in every single one of those games with how good the offense is, to back it with a defense that just looked as good as ever with that energy that they brought. And then a rejuvenated special teams. The energy in that building today, Lou, was the energy that I felt only a couple times in the past. And it's not on that level of that Minnesota Viking NFC Championship game, but the energy to know that we are the far better football team and we can win and dominate every single way. And it doesn't matter who's lining up on the other side. They're going to go out there and just be who they are as a football team. And that was so evident and clear today.
Even the role players on offense stepped up today. I thought Kenneth Gainwell had a great day. 3 catches for 38 yards, 3 carries for 15. Jack Stahl, 3 catches for 41, and 2 of them were tough. They were low grabs. He went down to the ground to pick them up. Quez Watkins, 5 catches for 37. He continues to be a bigger piece of the puzzle without Dallas Goedert. Just So many fun angles to talk about with this game on both sides of the ball. That was all the offense, but we got to dive into this defense. They made it hell for Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry. On Sunday, a 35-10 win over the Tennessee Titans. Your Philadelphia Eagles are now 11-1 on the year. Guys, today's episode of Locked On Eagles is presented by Total Wine and More. This holiday season, find what you love at Total Wine and More. With so many great bottles to choose from, it's easy to find a new favorite, Cabernet, a Chardonnay, or the perfect gifts for everyone on your list with some help from a friendly guide. And all with the confidence of knowing you found something special for the lowest price. You'll love what you find. Only at Total Wine and More. Curbside pickup and delivery available in most areas. Visit TotalWine.com to learn more. Drink responsibly, be 21.
And after you grab your case from Total Wine, I'm sure you're going to be sipping it. Well, maybe you're watching an Eagles game in your home. And here at the Locked On Eagles podcast, we believe that the home should be where you and your family feel the safest, especially over the holidays. This season, give yourself and your family the gift of peace and protection with the #1 rated home security system, Simply Safe. And right now, Simply Safe is offering our listeners here at Locked On Eagles 40% off a new security system. But don't put this off. Here's why I love Simply Safe. Simply Safe. It's just such a tongue twister, but it's great because at the end of the day, no matter how difficult it is to pronounce it 10 times over, the luxury and the safety you will get from them and the peace of mind is something that, man, it has helped me out so much since we moved here to Colorado. We have our Simply Safe system. It has put our mind at ease. You have 24/7 monitoring agents that will call you at the drop of a hat anytime your alarm system goes off. You have break-in technology that goes off at the drop of a hat, and it is the best home security system rated in 2022 by News and World Report. Our friends today at Locked On Eagles can get that 40% off offer by going to simplysafe.com/LockedOnNFL. That's simplysafe.com/LockedOnNFL. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Thanks for making Locked On Eagles your first listen each and every day. I'm Louis DiBiase. He's Gino Camilleri. For your second listen, guys, make sure you check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast. From the games that matter the most to the biggest stories in sports, go beyond the scoreboard and behind the scenes with local experts and insight only Locked On can provide. Locked On Sports Today, available on this app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. It's the post-game show. The Eagles take it over the Tennessee Titans. Not just take it. They stole it.
Manhandled.
35-10.
Decimated.
Manhandled.
Destroyed.
I mean,
whatever adjective you could think of, this
exactly.
was perfect.
Gino, that was a physical offense, too, that the Eagles defense totally manhandled. I mean, this is 2 times now in 3 weeks. They could not stop the bleeding for a while against the run, but you shut down Jonathan Taylor a few weeks ago in Indianapolis. And then how about the job against Derrick Henry today? Only 11 carries for 30 yards, a 2.7 average. That defensive line today on the interior, on the edge, you had corners and safeties making nice tackles on Henry on the boundary. They made Henry seem like a washed up 30-plus-year-old running back today. That was an impressive performance from the defense.
I think the thing that you have to take away from today was just how much energy and juice that defense brought from the get-go. At no point did you feel like it was one of those Tennessee-esque games where Henry's ripping off 5-6 yards a chunk and you just get behind the sticks like that Washington game, for example. There were a few times that play action did work for them, but the key and the cog of their offense, everybody knows it. Everybody in the building knows that Derrick Henry and Tennessee does it so well. Just come and tackle me. Not many teams can do it, but the way that the Eagles were flying around today, man, they, like you said, Lou, it looked like Derrick Henry was just slower than all 11 players on the Eagles defense.
And no broken tackles, man. Like the Eagles have struggled all year to tackle. Josiah Scott was wrapping them up. James Bradbury, Darius Slay. It was a great performance.
I thought the front and their ability to just create leverage at the point of attack and keep Tennessee from creating any push to allow Derrick Henry to get going was the key. And then off of that, even when Kaiser White goes out and Nakobe Dean comes in, the play that you got from the linebackers today was exceptional. Right off of the get-go, TJ Edwards is coming down, filling gaps. And then on the back end, we don't hear about James Bradbury and Darius Slay anymore. Nobody's going to throw at them. And then your safeties, man, Reed Blankenship, you didn't even know this kid is an undrafted free agent. And Marcus Epps is continuing to be the most underrated player on the football team. Hats off to all 11 plus guys on that team on defense with the rotation that they brought in there. It was great to see Jordan Davis back today, and Ndamukong Suh, Linval Joseph, all the additions, everybody on that unit, Lou, over the past 3 weeks. It has been, it has put me at ease to where the first 8-9 weeks of the season, every time the defense was out there, you're saying, oh man, like I don't know if we can get a stop.
It was a roller coaster.
Get off the field. We have to rely on a turnover. They didn't rely on a turnover today. They didn't have to get a turnover. They just got off the field.
I think over a month.
Situationally, that front hit home. Ryan Tannehill, poor guy, man. He had
his
no
ankle
time
was
to throw the
banged
football
up
today.
He was heading into this game already banged up. Then he gets sacked twice by Josh Sweat, once by Javon Hargrave, once by Fletcher Cox, once by Brandon Graham, once by Hassan Riddick as well. So, we talked about how good they were against the run, but this defensive line was equally as dominant getting to Tannehill. All 5 of those guys I mentioned now, Gino, all have at least 5 sacks or more this year. The guy, though, I want to pinpoint, especially, of course, Hargrave now, he's got 8 sacks. Like, he's going to get a bag this year. Hassan Riddick was your most consistent pass rusher out there.
Say the guy's name, Lou.
But Josh Sweat, let's give a guy his flowers, man. I mean, he's consistently been in the elite echelon when it comes to pass rush win rate this year, but now we're starting to see the sacks come together, right? 2 today. He had one last week, 1 3 weeks ago. He's at 6 on the year now. The results are starting to come. He was always getting to the quarterback, but it's great to see now he's getting the quarterbacks to the ground. Sweat has been one of the most underrated players on the team.
And what is the crazy part about all this, Lou, is that when you look at Josh Sweat's game, I can't decipher what he is better at. Is he better rushing the passer, or is he a better edge setter and run defender? Because he is playing at an unbelievable caliber doing both of those things. And Sweat is always that guy when you're looking at the efficiency metrics that people tweet out. It's like you see the top level guys, and then off to the side a little bit, right above all the average guys, it's like Josh Sweat's always right there, and people don't tend to give him his respect. And playing in this defense where he's able to have that one-on-one battle as many times as he does, as well as win double teams on a common occurrence. His agility and just his elusiveness,
that
is too
inside
much
step on the second sack.
Goodness.
Oh my gosh. The violence and explosiveness for a guy that tall and lengthy. It was cool, Gino. What I liked about both sacks, because Sweat got a half a sack both times. Same with, at least on his final 2, because he had 2 sacks on the day. So technically he got the quarterback down 3 times today. The other 2 half a sacks were with Hassan Riddick. And I love that because those are your 2 future guys. It's always fun to see Fletcher Cox get in on it. That sack he had on Tannehill was perfect because he knew Tannehill was going to roll out again. He spins out and bails and pushes him out of bounds. Brandon Graham is a Super Bowl hero. You always love seeing the veterans because you never know how long you're going to be able to watch them. But I loved seeing Riddick and Sweat get 2 sacks together because that's your future right there. That's your, what Riddick last year with Carolina. I was so jealous seeing him with Brian Burns. I'm like, I want that young duo.
Well,
you have that now with Riddick and Sweat. Yeah,
it's not Brian Burns level, but it's the second best thing that you can get to having that combination. On top of those sack numbers today, Lou, they hit the quarterback a combined 7 times. 7 times hitting a quarterback between 2 guys. You are in very good hands moving forward, and we have to give the veterans their flowers as well, Lou. I said it. I've been saying it the last couple weeks. The downfall of Fletcher Cox has been severely overblown.
He's heating up, man.
He is like a set of tires in a big race. Like, you might have to get them going. You might have to heat them up. But when they're juiced and when they're flowing, you see the dominant factor to his game. And the one player on the interior that I thought today did an exceptional job keeping Tennessee from getting any push was Fletcher Cox holding his ground. He didn't get trapped out of there today. There was no room in the middle of that line for Tennessee to get any off tackle or cutback runs. All of the players, the interior guys as well, those veterans, having Linval Joseph there, having Ndamukong Suh, having Cox, Hargrave, all of those guys that are 28, 29, and even in their 30s, that's a lot of football IQ that you get from playing years and years, just knowing to play sound fundamental football. That's exactly what you got out of the defense today.
It's just like that, his sack especially, it wasn't, he got Tannehill out of bounds, but it was such a veteran move because you saw a couple
Play
of
to the
drives
whistle.
before that. Yeah,
Play to
you
the
saw
whistle.
Tennessee's only touchdown drive earlier on. They faced a 4th and 7. The Eagles got push, right? But Reddick kind of over pursued a little bit, and Tannehill could bail outside the pocket, and he had nothing but daylight to pick up that first down. Of course, then we see he hits Treylon Burks. Fletcher Cox learns from that, right? He sees Tannehill rolling out, and instead of kind of over pursuing because he was gaining ground, he spins out of his block and chases him down to beat that angle. That's just such a veteran move. It was just so many fun plays to watch in this game. And you even mentioned it. It was more than just the 11 starters. Nakobe Dean, this is how deep this team is, man.
Young player.
He was the best linebacker in the country last year on a national title team, and we haven't seen him all year. And he comes in and he makes back-to-back great plays the minute Kazir White goes out. I mean, they are that talented. This is, I don't know if it's prisoner of the moment, but it might be the deepest roster in Eagles history.
I had tweeted out during the middle of the game, I said, this is the game we play, the since win game. The linebacking unit, the best unit since win. The defensive front, the best unit since win. The defensive backs, the best unit since win. This could be the best unit that we have seen outside of those early 2000 Super Bowl teams and those early 90s teams with the all-time greats that we have ever seen. This is one of those defenses that when they put it together, it is truly something to marvel, Lou, because the Tennessee Titans, look at their head coach. It's Mike Vrabel. The guy oozes grit. He oozes just fundamental, let's run the rock. We're going to pound it up the middle. And what did the Eagles do today? They completely decimated his philosophy on football. They said, we are the tougher team. We're going to be tougher longer. And at that, we have better football players up and down the board.
That's right. That's what it comes down to. There's so many things, but they're just more talented than every team they play.
It's crazy. I mean, it wasn't even close today, Lou.
No,
against a team that's leading their division right now and is probably going to host a playoff game.
Yep, 100%. We will continue to get into the recap of that Eagles win 35-10 over the Tennessee Titans. Guys, today's episode of Locked On Eagles is brought to you by Prize Picks Daily Fantasy. We crushed it today with Prize Picks. We took the over on A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith. Prize Picks won us some money. So here is how it works. You pick 2 to 5 players, and if they will score more or less than their Prize Picks projection, you can win up to 10 times your money on any entry. There's no competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available. Prize Picks offers projections on any sport you watch. The NFL, you've got the college football playoff coming up, the NBA, MLB, NHL, PGA Tour. You've got disc golf, MMA, boxing, cricket, everything you name it's available at Prize Picks. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy. Safe and fast withdrawals as well. Currently operational in over 30 states and Canada. Download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with the promo code LOCKEDON. So if you deposit $100, Prize Picks will give you $100. If you deposit $50, they're going to get you $50. Don't forget to enter the promo code LOCKEDON and sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. The promo code is LOCKEDON at Prize Picks Daily Fantasy. This is Locked On Eagles, the post-game show. The Eagles take it over the Tennessee Titans 35-10, a dominating win to get to 11-1, continue this stranglehold on the 1 seed in the NFC, number 1 in the NFC East. The Giants and Commanders, today they tied. So that's good for the Eagles, both still at 7 wins. The Eagles continue to gain ground. Not that we were really getting nervous, but that's a big game, especially a big result since you have the Giants twice this year. And, Dallas is still at 8 wins. Everybody in your division's good. So the Eagles, the most important part is, though, they just keep taking care of business. And, man, but they're doing it in a more fun way because you can say they took care of business in 2018, right? They took care of business in 2019 and 2021, but I always remember me and you doing these shows, and it just felt like we had just ran a marathon every show. We were spent with anxiety and stress. We're like, man, all right, they won, but it took everything. They had to grit and grind their way, and they were backed against the corner. And it just, you always would look back to the 2017 highlights and be like, man, that was so fun. It was so easy. And it's great to feel like we're finally back to that. This team is fun. They're dominating. They're more talented than you on both sides. It's a more fun product of winning. Winning, sometimes a win is a win, but certain wins feel better. And these kind of wins, I think, feel better.
I think people love football for the dramatic of it.
Sure.
You know, you score the big touchdowns and you get the big plays to A.J. Brown, but this story was written for years now, Lou. Like you had said, it began in 2017, how fun that was. And then I thought this game encapsulated how far we have come from the last time we watched the Philadelphia Eagles take on the Tennessee Titans, where you're at the edge of your seat for nearly 5 quarters of football, watching that overtime game, and you never once could unclench your jaw because you're just grinding your teeth saying, when is this going to end? When is this painful ride going to end? And then today, I'm sitting back in my couch. I'm getting up, filling up my water bottle between plays.
Checking the other scores.
Yeah. I switched to the Vikings game to check out how the Jets were doing. This was one of those games that, like you said, 2017, where it was that Chicago game, the Denver game, where you just look back, and we're going to watch the highlights after this and watch the game back.
Yeah, you watch them doing the electric shuffle in the third quarter because they're up 20 points.
Yeah, the A.J. Brown factor of it today, the MVP level of Jalen Hurts, how good the defense was. And Lou, the thing that made it so fun was that all 3 phases were playing excellent today.
Hey, man.
Britton Covey.
Special teams.
Britton Covey, 6 returns, average 17.5 yards per return on punts. This was a full football team win. 53 guys plus the coaches it took to win this football game today. And they didn't just win, Lou. They did it in a way that was so, to me, awe-inspiring, because they have been in such a range over the season of tests. But those games where they impose their will, you had texted me this, the Minnesota game early on in the season, a very similar feeling to what we felt today, where it was everything the Eagles did. It was like a grandmaster in chess playing somebody who's played maybe 4 or 5 times. Every time Tennessee had a move, the Eagles were 6, 7, 8, 9 moves ahead of them. That energy was there. They outcoached Tennessee all day. And like you said, as we mentioned in the last segment, this was a very good testament to Howie Roseman in putting together a football team that is as good as we have seen in franchise history, and as good as we have seen in the National Football League in the last couple of years.
It's incredible. You're going to look back on this season and enjoy it, because it's not that they're going to lose all these players, but this roster you're going to look back 10 years on this year and be like, wow. Even if they don't win a championship, you're going to say this was maybe the most talented team they've ever put out there. And you're seeing it in the execution on the field. Gino, before we wrap up the show, talk about execution. How about me and you today with our LOE3 presented by BetOnline? We run for listeners that don't know what our LOE3 is, we each make 3 player prop bets each week through BetOnline for the game. And we literally were 1 yard short of going a full 6-0. We went 5-1. So here's how it worked. I took the over on A.J. Brown, 85 receiving yards, nailed that. Jalen Hurts over 238 passing yards, hit that. Quez Watkins, more yards than Westbrook Akane, or Kide, excuse me, hit that. Then you went 2-1. You had more passing yards for Hurts than Tannehill. You also had this one, big, Hurts, 350 plus passing yards and 2+ passing touchdowns. Your third one was so close. A.J. Brown plus 120 receiving yards, 1 touchdown, and a Philly win. He had 119 yards, a touchdown, and a Philly win. Literally 1 yard short, and that was plus 650.
If you look at what we did today in LOE3, I think it's the biggest winning day that we have had. We won 13 units. If that A.J. Brown one hits, we win 20 units. So what that means is that, let's say we put $100 on our bets.
I like the dollar amount. Yeah.
We would have won $1,300 today. And if A.J. Brown hit, we would have won $2,000 on putting in all of that money that we put in.
He needed 1 yard. Oh,
dude, 1 yard. But overall, Lou, this was one of those games that it pays off to, 1, do this show, 2, to be an Eagles fan, and 3, to love football. This was why we pay to watch the sport. We sit through the bad years, we take in the good years, and enjoy this ride. We don't know when it's going to end, but this was another one of those twists and turns on the roller coaster where you're saying, man, I hope we get 3, 4 more of these fun outings. We got 5 regular season games left. Lou, they got to handle business the rest of the way exactly like they did today, because there's a lot of teams that are close to you, but the Eagles are dominating and showing why they're number 1 in the National Football League.
They dominated today, 35-10 win over the Tennessee Titans. We will continue to get into this matchup. Stock up, stock down on tomorrow's show. Make sure you subscribe to Locked On Eagles for 5 shows a week, Monday through Friday, on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. Make sure you hit us up on Twitter at Locked On Birds, at DiBiase LOE, and at GC24_football. Once again, thanks for making Locked On Eagles your first listen each and every day. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast, the biggest stories of the day, plus instant reactions, big game recaps, and the take of the day. Available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your shows. For Gino Camilleri, I'm Lou DiBiase signing off. Once again, the Eagles take it 35-10 over Tennessee. As always, thank you for downloading. Thank you for watching and listening. And let's go, Birds.
Fly, Eagles, fly.